I want to share something. So I have this Oracle deck, the Starseed Oracle. It is absolutely amazing if you're into this kind of thing. Even if you're not into this kind of thing, but you might want to be into this kind of thing. This is such a beautiful Oracle deck. It's just stunning. So I just did a read for myself, but one of the cards, my second card I pulled is this one. And it says, "You are not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north." Okay, so that's the card. And what it says, the write-up on it is what I wanted to share with you guys. So it says, "The world is filled with people who, no matter what you do, just won't like you. But it's also filled with those who will love you fiercely. They are your people. You're not for everyone, and that's okay. Talk to the people who can hear you." That's powerful. Talk to the people who can hear you. Don't waste your precious time and gifts trying to convince others of your value. Like dropping bombs. Okay. They won't ever want what you're selling. Don't try to convince them to walk alongside you. You'll be wasting both your time and theirs, and will likely inflict unnecessary wounds that will take precious time to heal. You're not for them, and they're not for you. Politely wave them on and continue on your way. Sharing your path with someone is a sacred gift. This was the point, like I've gotten this card before, but reading this, I read every single time, right? Like whether I've gotten the card tons of times or not, I will read the write-up on it every single time, because along my path, depending on where I'm at, depending on so many things, right? Like our perspective changes over time, right? As we go through life experiences, as we evolve, as we transform, right? Like I'm not the same person I was even a month ago, even a day ago. Like, so I read it every single time, and sometimes certain parts will hit like just hit different, or like just hit deeper, like it really, really resonates. This part, sometimes I stutter. This part in particular just really hit deep. Like, you're not for them and they're not for you. Politely wave them on and continue on your way. This part, sharing your path with someone is a sacred gift. A sacred gift. Like, powerful, powerful words. Don't cheapen it by rolling yours in the wrong direction. So sharing your path with someone is a sacred gift. Don't cheapen it by rolling yours in the wrong direction. Keep facing your true north. Pulling this card means you're being called to embrace your uniqueness, to own your weirdness, to let the world see who you really are, to reveal your multifaceted, multidimensional nature, not to dim your light according to who is in your presence. I'm going to read that part again. Not to dim your light. What did it say? Depending? Where is it? Oh my gosh. Not to dim your light according to who is in your presence. To own all parts of yourself so that your people, the ones who are the same kind of weird as you, can recognize you when your paths cross. Isn't that beautiful? And then, so they'll always have like a Starseed Soul Inquiry, or there will be like some cards will have like a prayer of sorts. Like you place the card on your heart chakra and then you say something, right? Depending on what the prayer is. But this one is a Starseed Soul Inquiry, or inquiry. You can let me know how you say that word. Yeah, I always say inquiry. Inquiry sounds weird to me. But anyway, tomato, tomato. How can you embrace your weirdness and not care so much about what other people think? So I feel like doing these videos is me embracing my weirdness. Like, what is it? Like, let your freak shine, or let your, I can't remember. There's like a really cute way of saying it, but yeah, you gotta let yourself be yourself. Like, I know that that sounds kind of silly, but there's so many layers to humans, right? It's like Shrek. Um, ogres have many layers like an onion. Well, humans have many layers as well, but unfortunately, our layers are, and I mean, an ogre's layers are probably very much the same, right? Like, he's ridiculed and he's painted as, this monster and this human eating raw and all this. And humans are very much the same, right? Like, we have many layers, just like an onion, just like an ogre. We have layers and layers and layers of programming and trauma and just like the life experiences we've gone through that have shaped us and maybe dimmed our light, dimmed our light, dimmed our light. Hanging out with the wrong people, or growing up and being made wrong for being who we are. Like, you know, um, yeah, just like even generational curses, generational traumas that get passed on from family system to family system to family system, because when you don't know better, how can you do any better, right? So there's layers and layers and layers to each and every single human on this planet, and a lot of those layers are all the shit that we've been through, all of the hard stuff we've been through, all of the ways we were made wrong, or we were told that we're not enough, or that we're not lovable exactly as we are. And I think it's really important to recognize, like, where you're dimming your light, recognize, like, where you're just kind of following the herd, or where you're trying to fit in, where you're trying to belong. Like, when you're with your people, you don't need to try to fit, you don't need to try to belong, you don't need to beg for love or attention, or beg for anything. You don't need to beg to be seen and heard. You don't need to really like effort, like, yes, relationships with other humans require effort, like there's hiccups and there's bumps, and there's like a learning curve when you're in relationship with other people, whether that be friendship or intimate relationships, or family relationships, or work relationships, whatever it is. There is effort required for sure, and there's a learning curve to being with people. I get that, but when you're truly with your people, like your tribe, so to speak, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like effort, like, it feels right. You feel at home, you feel safe, you feel seen and heard. And maybe there are struggles sometimes where you don't feel seen and heard, or you feel like you're efforting, but when you're with your people, you have the safety to be able to say, like, hey, like, I'm struggling here, or I'm not feeling seen and heard, or I'm feeling like, I'm really having to like I'm really struggling here, like, when you're with your people, there's an openness, there's a comfort, there's, yeah, that safety, that trust, that you can truly be yourself, that you can truly let your light shine, that you can truly be vulnerable, that you're safe, that they'll hold space for you, that they love you no matter what, that they love you unconditionally, that they're willing to learn with you, to grow with you, to connect with you. So I really, really love that card. You're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north, right? And my weird is going to look different than your weird, right? Like, we all have our own weird. And it's beautiful. Like, that's one of my favorite things about being a human is people. Like, people letting their light shine. People just doing their thing. Seeing people out in the world that are dressed in a way that, like, you can tell, like, they're just expressing themselves in the way that they dress, or their tattoos, or the piercings they have, or the way they wear their makeup, or the way they wear their hair, or the way they talk, the way they walk. Seeing people just truly comfortable with themselves, just truly comfortable being themselves. It's just such a beautiful gift. And when you really truly embrace who you are, when you really truly embrace your weird, step into your greatness, your weirdness, face your true north, like, you inspire other people to do the same thing. And my weird isn't for everyone. That's for sure. And I'm so grateful for that. That means that I'm living an authentic life, right? That means if I'm not for everyone, that's a fucking blessing, because that means that I'm not adapting or molding or blending myself to fit wherever I am, right? If I'm not for everyone, that means that I'm more than likely just truly being myself. And it's a gift when you're not for everyone. It truly is a gift. It's a gift when you can just really love yourself enough to just let your freak shine, like, let your weird out, like, when you can just truly just do you, where you can walk through life doing what lights you up on the inside, not worried, not bothered by who's gonna think this or who's gonna say that, right? Like, and something I know it's really scary to truly be ourselves sometimes, right? Especially when you've had trauma after trauma after trauma, especially when you've loved people so deeply that didn't see you, that didn't hear you, that didn't love you unconditionally, that only, like, seemed to love you or like you until, or if you measured up, if you acted a certain way, if you were easy to be with, type of thing, like, I get it. It's really, really hard to let those walls down and just let your heart shine. It's really hard to let your weird out or show your vulnerability. To be vulnerable, right? To be yourself is to be vulnerable. Because if people don't like you when you're wearing a mask, when you have your walls up, you're wearing a mask and you're not totally, like, letting your freak shine or letting your weird out, then it's no big deal, right? It doesn't hurt as much because you're not totally showing who you are anyway. So if they don't like you, it's like, it's not going to hurt as much. It's very, very, very scary to truly, like, let the walls down and be vulnerable by being your true authentic self. But something I remind myself of is that the people that are judging me, the people that don't like me, the people that maybe talk shit behind my back, or they smile to my face, but they're I don't know, shifty came to mind. Yeah, the people that are, kind to my face, but then they're not so kind behind my back. those aren't my people. So I'm learning, I'm remembering to just be myself, to allow myself to express however I choose to express, and walk in faith that the people that are for me, the people that truly see me, the people that appreciate me and actually see my heart, they see my weird and they're like, fuck yeah, like right on, right? Those are my people. I'm going to attract those people by allowing myself to let those walls down, and by remembering that, yeah, the people that are talking shit, that are shifty, that are wolves in sheep's clothing, so to speak, they're not my people. So it doesn't matter what they have to say. It doesn't matter if they don't like me. It doesn't matter, if they're wasting their energy talking about me behind my back, so be it, right? So be it. We don't get to control how other people act, what other people say, how other people perceive us. And that's another huge point. Something that I remind myself of is we are all viewing the world through our own lens, and a lot of people are viewing the world through their trauma, right? There's a lot of people, a lot of hurt people walking around hurting people. So, when people are mean to you or when people have nothing nice to say, it really has very little to do with you. It actually has like nothing to do with you and everything to do with them and where they're at, right? So let your freak fly. Like, let your freak flag fly. Is that what it is? Let your freak flag fly. Be weird, be wonderful. Step into your true power. Like, just be yourself, right? And I understand that when you're stepping out of, I want to say the matrix, right? When you're stepping out of, the way you've been programmed to be your entire life, when you're stepping away from the version of you that you created along the way to stay safe, when you're stepping out from behind the walls that you've put up to protect yourself. What was my thought now? Fudge. I said fudge. I think I said, see, I can't even say the word. I can't even say the other one unless I'm like on a tangent. Oh yeah, right. So when you're breaking down the walls, when you're stepping out from behind those walls, and you're wanting to become more yourself, and you're letting go of these programmed ways of being, or these unconscious patterns that you've repeated for a lot of your life, or when you're stepping away from these things, like, I understand how difficult it can be, right? Like, I realized years ago that I didn't really know who the fuck I was. Like, and it's crazy. Like, it sounds crazy to say that, because like I've been in this meat suit my entire life, right? It's changed throughout the years, but I've been in the same meat suit my entire life. And I've been living in this adult body for, well, let's say since 20 years old. I'd say I didn't even feel like an adult at 20, but let's say, for a good 13 to 15 years. But yeah, it clicked one day that I didn't really know who I was. Like, I had to discover, right? Like, when you're pulling down the walls, when you're releasing yourself from like the chains of the programming that you've grown up with, and by programming I mean the things that you were taught, right? Like the things that you saw, the things that you learned from the people you were around, your parents, your siblings, if your parents were separated, maybe your parents had boyfriends or girlfriends, and so you learn from them too, and you learn from the movies you watch and the music you listen to, and like we're inundated, right? We're programmed from such an early age. So when you start breaking that stuff down, like, and really, figuring out, like, does this resonate or doesn't it? It can be really difficult to kind of have an understanding of who you even are, right? When you peel back all these layers, like, let's get back to the onion. When you pull back all these layers, who the fuck are you? And I was at that point. I've actually been at that point many times throughout my adult life, but it's kind of a tough spot to be, right? But it can be a really beautiful, painful at times, but a beautiful process. Like this is awakening to who you truly are, like at a soul level, right? And it's painful. It's painful letting go of stories and beliefs and people and things you've carried with you your entire life. And it's scary because you're stepping into the unknown, but it's also such a beautiful gift because you get to discover who you are, like who you truly are, who you truly were before, the world got a hold of you, before the programming started happening, right? Like we are all born in love, like we come from love, we're born in love. We go out in love, right? We return to loving consciousness, and we are loving consciousness here in the physical body. In this meat suit, you are pure loving consciousness. Like you have that within you, underneath all those layers of hurt and trauma and life experience and being told who you are. Like you are divine, like, and you get to discover who you are. Like you get to discover what your truth actually is. You get to decide, what you want to believe and what you don't want to believe. You get to decide what you carry with you and what you drop, what doesn't serve you anymore, right? So I know it can be really scary to like let those walls down and start really embracing your weird, whatever that may look like. But it really is such a gift. It's a beautiful unfolding into who you truly are. And maybe you're not ready to share that with the world. Maybe you're not ready to share that with the people in your world quite yet. But even just embracing your weird with yourself, making silly faces at yourself in the mirror, taking time to look in the mirror, make eye contact with yourself and say, I love you, and like really connect, just becoming your own best friend is such a gift. Becoming your own ally, someone that you can depend on, someone that you can trust, someone that holds safe space for yourself. Like, how beautiful is that? What a gift that is, right? So many of us walk around beating ourselves up, bullying ourselves for being the way we are. And it's like, what if you could just love yourself unconditionally on your really great days, on the days where you feel like you're crushing it and you're just crushing it, right? Like you're doing great. And then on the days, especially on the days where you might feel like really messy, chaotic, like a pile of shit. On those days, being able to hold space for yourself on those days, being able to be safe space on those days, being able to, observe the thoughts, maybe the dark thoughts that come in on the harder days, and really truly believe in your heart of hearts that that's not your truth anymore, right? That's not who you are. Because you've done the work. You've embraced your weird. You've connected with yourself. You've become your own best friend. And now you have like an unshakable foundation within yourself. Nobody can touch that, right? Like, so hopefully that made sense. I feel like I'm very squirrely, and I've said this before. I'm very squirrely, but it's something that I usually really love about myself. So I'm just going to embrace that, and hopefully it wasn't too squirrely for you guys to like follow and get my message, get the point I'm trying to put across. But like I said before, right, we have no control. People are going to see us through their own lens. They're going to hear us through their own lens. So all I can do is share of myself from my heart and walk in faith that it's going to reach whoever it needs to reach, and that the people that are for me are going to really connect with this. It's really going to make sense. It's really going to hit deep. Hopefully there's some takeaways for someone out there. But if not, I've really enjoyed creating this video, sharing a little bit of my weird, and yeah, sharing this. Oh, that's not the card. Where's the card, man? Sharing this beautiful card that I pulled. Yeah. So the other two cards, I'm going to read them really quick before I go, because they're also relevant to my message tonight. All paths lead home, inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within, which is literally what I was just talking about. And Earth School, life lessons, soul growth, study, and higher learning. So, Earth School. Yeah, highly recommend these cards if you're looking to do like a little bit of internal work, inner work. These cards are so beautifully done. So beautifully done. I just have such beautiful readings with these cards. So anyway, that's all for now. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you did watch this to the end, I truly appreciate you sharing your time with me. And yeah, embrace your weird. Figure out what your weird is. You know, it's like trying on shoes. You know, sometimes you gotta try on a lot of shoes before you find the ones that fit just right and feel really, really good to walk around in. It takes time sometimes, but you deserve the time and energy and love that is required to really find those shoes that fit. So hopefully I hope you embrace your weird. That's all for now. Take care, guys.